Going live. You're live.
Oh, there's a thing up here.
If you don't want to be in it, you gotta leave.
Hello from Greece.
Hello to you. I hope it's going to be fun. If not, that's not what I signed up for. I signed up for fun out of the gate.
Can everyone hear us okay? That's my main concern right now.
You know what's really funny about this is that I thought we were going to hear people talking.
What are you, 70?
Yeah. How come the voices aren't coming through on the chat?
Quincy Mass.
Okay, I'll assume that yep in the sea of all these other comments is the yep, we can hear you. Well, hey, should we do an intro? I'll do an intro.
We didn't write anything. You didn't write anything.
Well, no, I just mean like, hey, welcome. Hey, welcome to the show. This is the first time we've ever done this, so we'll see where it goes and what happens. All right, scroll back to the beginning and let's read the comments in order. Kuwait, Greece, New Zealand. Hello to everybody. That's awesome.
Pensacola.
UK. Pensacola. I used to live in Pensacola. There's a Navy base there. That's what the Blue Angels are based out of.
Haverhill, Massachusetts.
I assume I like the shirt was for my shirt, not for whatever this says over here. How much for 4 minutes or less on Dr. Doom review?
Oh, Daniel Heron with the $2.
Yeah.
4 minutes or less are in a holding pattern.
Oh, he asked how much. So how much you got? This is the question.
Holding pattern.
Yeah, Birmingham, England, Tewksbury, Mass, Detroit. Wait, I'm just gonna read these. I feel like a weatherman. Reading all the Calgary, Alberta,
Germany, Nebraska. Wow.
So yeah, we don't really have a format or anything planned for this. Obviously, if questions pop up, we'll see what we can do to answer them.
Yes, the Top Gun shirt is up on the TeePublic store. It might be below some of our videos too. There's like a merch shelf thing. I look over here, but the camera is up there.
When I talk, I'm looking at the camera.
Well, you're used to it. I'm not. But there might be like a merch shelf thing.
You can also go to my
some of the videos.
Also go to my Instagram, Toy Galaxy. There's a link tree set up there that has a link to that specific shirt design to buy that one directly. But it also goes to all the other shirts that are in that store.
Will there be a Boglin oddity video? There might be a Boglin video, but I don't think it would be an oddity. I think it would be a full-on episode. I don't know how much there is to say about Boglins, but I think it was probably big enough that it would get an episode.
There's not much.
Oddities are weird.
They're odd.
Because it's like $4.99 from Logan Michael. Anti Funko Pops. Thanks. Oddities are weird because we try. Sometimes they are aligned, but we try and keep it to like talking about one piece or one thing, right?
Do they know who you are?
They should.
Okay, this is great. Yeah, no, oddities tend to be more of the, I don't want to keep saying, you're not supposed to use the word in the definition. But yeah, oddities are for that stuff that's just, didn't have the cartoon, didn't have the wide exposure, slipped through the cracks. A lot of people don't remember it. But it's still like an interesting kind of thing. So yeah, I'm not sure where Boglins would fit on that line.
I think it's probably
require a little research to look into that.
I think it's probably a full episode.
Make that call. We'll see.
I do miss the reviews. The Taskmaster review is amazing. The Taskmaster review is really funny. And we missed the reviews as well. But
yeah, we're always trying to walk that line between what we want to do, what we think is best for the channel growth, and reaching the audience and engaging people and making sure people are watching. They're fun. We have a lot of fun with them. I think a lot of the like ongoing gags and jokes and just the development of the sort of voice and tone of the channel came from those videos, but we try to incorporate that into other stuff as well. To make sure that we're, I'm sorry, I'm losing track of.
No, it's fine.
Tell me when to stop talking. Thoughts on the G.I. Joe 6-inch line from Peter Juan Cristiano?
Yeah, it's pretty.
All right. Thoughts on the G.I. Joe 6-inch line? I will tell you in a couple of weeks because I just got my shipping notification today for my Hasbro Pulse Snake Eyes figure, so should be getting that soon. Just in general, I'm very excited about it. I know there's some negativity associated with the designs and stuff. I don't really care. I'm just glad to have them back on the shelves. You got to get back on the shelf first before we can really figure out what the direction is and where they're going to go with the stuff. The gold, you know, sort of accents and whatever, that was kind of weird at first, but you know, having seen them in person at Toy Fair, and the photos that people have been posting of Snake Eyes himself, I'm super excited for the whole thing. Let's buy them all up so that we can get on to wave 2.
Dino Sausage has been covered. I have not watched the Dracula series yet, but it is in the queue. Bunyan Snipe, would a mask scale Transformers line work?
Would a mask scale Transformers line work? So mask vehicles that are like deluxe class, Voyager class, maybe. I think it would. I mean, they'd sell one to me. I don't ask.
That's what they're going for.
I'm not good with the business decision, so I would walk in and say, "Yeah, you're going to sell one to me, so make like $1 million." I don't know, but I think it could work. I think that it would have to be a targeted, you know, collector targeted audience thing, just like everything else right now. If it was going to be targeted to kids, I don't know. I don't think it would deliver. Just like all this stuff, I don't know that it would deliver what the adult collectors are looking for.
Let's see. It's going by very quickly. We're trying to keep up. Any tips for fellow nostalgia fans and toy reviewers?
Tips, just in general, as far as like, okay, so specifically for toy reviewers.
Sure.
You know what? Try to communicate your own voice. You know, don't rely so much on what other people are doing that works. There you go, Pete. You know, there's hundreds, there's thousands of people out there doing this kind of stuff, and everybody, you know, wants to follow whatever the successful formula is. Don't do that. Don't follow whatever the successful formula is. Just try to develop your own voice, because that's the voice you'll be able to stay true to and be able to be consistent with, I think.
I think when we created the channel, that was one of the things we did, was we looked at a lot of other channels to see what everyone else was doing, because neither one of us were big toy YouTube people. But we looked around and we saw what everyone else was doing, and we said, what can we do different? What can we bring to this that isn't there already?
Yeah. Because you know, how do you get noticed in a sea of, you know, if everybody's doing a photo booth type of thing, what can you do differently with that? How can you present it in a different way? You know, there's no way to beat established channels. No offense to established channels. Is that us? We're an established channel.
We're an established channel.
Yeah. No offense to us, but it's hard to beat when other reviewers have been doing it for so long. It's hard to be able to beat them to the punch as far as like getting figures first, getting samples, doing these kinds of things. So you've got to bring something else to it that nobody else can do. And the only thing that nobody else can do that's you is you. Are we done? I'm going to go.
Action Force was weird because they changed the nationality of all the characters. We'll be covering Action Force at some point. We don't know when.
Original Action Force.
Right.
Not current Action Force.
Right.
Which is the Kickstarter that just wrapped up.
Dion's Chair. What are your top 5 toy companies?
Is there more than 5? I mean, Hasbro has to be number 1. 80-90% of our channel is Hasbro stuff. Between Transformers, G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Avengers, all this, it's obviously Hasbro's number 1. Number 2, maybe, I don't know, NECA. I really honestly couldn't even say beyond that. Like, I can name 5 toy companies, but ranking them's a little tough because, you know, most of my toy collection is straight up Hasbro. McFarlane's doing incredible work right now. Jazzwares is coming up on the outside. It's just a great, exciting time to be a toy collector. You don't know. You don't collect toys.
No, I don't collect toys. Is Mrs. Toy Galaxy Mr.
That's our live studio audience.
Yes, that's a yes on that one.
What do we got? Furniture in the living room is similar to the shining carpet. Nice.
That's correct.
That's all right. Did you do that on purpose?
Yes.
All right.
This was picked because it was the shining carpet pattern. It's not the same color. I would have liked the same color, but it's the same pattern.
Oh, glorious Hasbro. That's right. Hey, man, give them credit. Credit where credit is due. They picked up the licenses and they just do better than everybody else. It's the truth.
Do you think that the nostalgia boom will end someday? I mean, won't it just keep moving forward.
Yeah, it just keeps rolling.
Yeah. So right now it's sort of 80s and 90s,
Yeah,
and then it's going to be 2000s, and then it's going to be the 10s. And
thoughts on next HasLab project? That's interesting because they've made some interesting choices so far. I think the katana there, Jabba's sail barge, was a good choice. I think Unicron was a good choice. I think Cookie Monster was a little weird. It was a weird choice. I know a lot of people keep asking for a flag. I don't ever see that happening. It's just too big. There's too much involved to that. And I know saying that sounds weird after they did Jabba's sail barge and Unicron. Yeah, I'd love to see. I think they teased a Sentinel recently as a potential, like not a frame, like a Sentinel. Sentinel. Imagine this bigger. I'll move back so I can get it more in frame. A Sentinel as HasLab. Have you picked up the 3 3/4 Star Wars Vintage Collection Mando? I haven't seen it in my area yet. I don't really do a lot of online ordering, just in general. Like, I'm too impatient. Like, here's the quirky thing is, like, I want it now, so I'm willing to wait for it. I'm willing to wait until it turns up in a store so I can buy it immediately instead of just ordering it and having it. Makes no sense.
It's that, what is it? Instant gratification.
I want the instant gratification, and I'm willing to wait for it.
Let's see.
Tower, this is Ghost Rider question fly. Negative Ghost Rider patterns full. Razor Crest. Ooh, Razor Crest. That's a good idea. I'd love to see the Razor Crest as a full size thing, as opposed to, but I could see them actually making that. They made the full size Falcon, the giant one. They made the big AT-AT and the battle droid transport. I'd love to see them pull that out and do a full size Razor Crest. That'd be great.
Any hopes for a new Star Trek toy line? What's the delay now that the Picard show is out? Star Trek is kind of a weird license. We're actually going to be we're trying to figure out how we're going to come at Star Trek, because we've been asked about it a number of times. We've never covered Star Trek anything. It's such a weird license and such a weird line when it comes to toys. Very
little Star Trek merch in my personal collection. Maybe a couple of the old Playmates figures. That's probably about it. I had some of the Action Fleet pieces, but those, I didn't like the Action Fleet ones, and they weren't officially Action Fleet. I don't remember what the line was. That
Good morning
Star
from
Trek
Australia.
Australia.
Wow.
I don't remember what the line was, but it was like, the Enterprise, and the cockpit was big enough. The bridge was big enough for like 2 figures to fit in it. And it's like, come on, like Enterprise should have been the size of my desk.
Opinion on the Ahsoka casting rumor?
I'm super excited about it. I understand people, being a little disappointed that I don't remember her name, Ashley Erickson, something like that. The actress who's played Ahsoka since she's the only person who's ever played her. I get people being disappointed that she's not a part of it, but it really doesn't make any sense that you would just be like, the voice actor is the only person who can play that character in live action, even if she has done live action acting on camera before. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm going to trust their judgment on this one. I'm going to give them a lot of slack because Mandalorian season 1 was great.
My thoughts on Picard, I've loved Picard so far.
Ashley Eckstein, that's what it was. Thank you, Ken Shikev. It went too fast, I didn't see it.
Ken Shikev.
There you go.
Hi from Scotland.
Got a baby
Another
Yoda
from
yet?
Scotland.
I don't have any Baby Yoda merch yet, no. We saw quite a bit at Toy Fair. I'm sure I'll be picking up the Black Series version at least. But I'm not going in for the Hot Toys version.
Greetings from the blue turf of Boise, Idaho. Nice. I love that blue turf. Producer Greg, any movie recommendations? We just watched Blow the Man Down last night. It's on Amazon Prime. It's new on Amazon Prime yesterday.
That's We Them. I didn't watch it.
No. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. So.
And I recommend rewatching Rebels again, Star Wars Rebels for the 5th time. You notice a lot of things on the 5th time you didn't notice on the 4th time. I'll tell you that.
Everything 80s podcast. Hey, from Canada,
Ireland, Canada,
Miami.
Very good stuff. Hey, can we hear Dan's Scorpion impression? I can't get into character if I don't have the whole costume on. What do you think would be good? What do we got here? Any other South Carolina collectors? Any South Carolina collectors?
What direction do you want Hasbro to take with the Black Series? More prequel stuff or sequel trilogy? Haven't seen Invisible Man yet. We're going to see it this weekend.
I would probably go prequel. I did enjoy the first two of the new trilogy. I enjoyed Force Awakens and Last Jedi, but I will admit that there weren't a lot of character designs that I really was like drawn to and had to have as action figures. So there's probably more designs to be mined from the prequel trilogy and or Clone Wars, Rebels, you know, all of that other Hit the Games, you know, all of those kinds of not extended universe, but all the supplemental materials that aren't the actual films themselves.
I would love to see some 3 3/4 inch Top Gun figures.
Why? I mean, yes. Let's definitely do that. Hey, Kobe, they're going to send us some samples whenever the Top Gun, whenever the Maverick stuff hits the building block airplane. So I'm excited for that. There should be a little Maverick figure in there. I don't know what it's going to look like him, but I don't think
they did say that.
I don't think they're doing face printing technology on little Lego minifigures. Alexander Nielsen, $2 says, my favorite Dan was sad, disappointed He-Man Dan. All right. It was fun. That was a very, very fun video to shoot.
It was super fun.
The best part is when we're putting our videos together, we don't really talk that much ahead of time.
We do not.
And since the beginning, it's always been the same strategy of, you know, we decide on what the concept's going to be. Occasionally he'll research. I'll end up supplementing that research, whatever. But I'll write the script, but fully intending to try to throw just craziness at him, so that when we do the read through, that's my first instance of being able to get like a reaction from an audience, from someone reading it. Is this joke landing the right way? Is this crazy enough that he's going to say no, or is it crazy enough that he's going to say yes? And so we'll do the read through, shoot the show, and then he takes it from there and tries to do the same thing in the other direction. So I'm seeing the video for the first time after it's done, and there's very little room for me to be able to say no. And I just have to sort of trust his comedic timing and his everything that he puts into the video that I didn't know was going to be there. And I don't know, it's worked all right.
There was one. Someone asked what videos we had in the work. What videos
Rat Trap
do you have? Yeah, do you have in the works currently? Today we shot the history of Street Sharks.
Street Sharks,
which will be out on Thursday. This Thursday.
Yeah.
Beyond that, that's the limit of our planning.
That's about as far as we plan out. Yeah, and it's always in flux. Like there are things that we've had on the schedule multiple times, kicked it back, weren't sure if we really had any ideas around it, or if you know, were people going to even be interested?
Right.
You know, how obscure, how odd is too odd? Turns out there's stuff that's too odd.
Everything 80s podcast. Did you guys do a Mad Balls episode yet? Yes.
We did. Yes. No Fu Manchu. I don't know. I lost my train of thought now. I think I covered whatever I was saying.
Jawsome.
Hey, Jawsome.
You use that at the end of the Street Sharks joke.
That's their whole
video,
thing.
Yeah.
What I wasn't able to work in was their other tagline, no guts. What was it? No guts, no galaxy. Whatever. Street Sharks finally.
Relevant question then. How do you decide what to do history of videos for? Like, I enjoyed the Magic the Gathering episode, but that seems a little outside of what I expect. We have a list. We have a list of stuff that we want to cover, or that we think would be fun to cover. The majority of the list, the vast majority of that list, we came up with in the first year of the channel.
Yeah, it was just sort of like
including covering Magic the Gathering. We have Yu-Gi-Oh on there. We have Pokemon on there.
You know,
we have the Nintendo Entertainment System on there. We have the Sega Master System on there.
Look, it's a galaxy. All right. It's called Toy Galaxy. You know, obviously we started from a place of, you know, pretty focused, laser focused on action figures, but it's really all about, you know, whatever touches any of that related stuff. If it moves into a TV show that didn't have action figures, if it moves into board games or comic books or, you know, movie, releases or whatever else, it's fine. You know, it's all the same nostalgia, pop culture kind of stuff, all occupying the same place, basically.
Right. Plus,
I think we missed a.
No, I saw it.
No, I wasn't sure if I wanted to call out that Yokai Customs.
Yokai Customs. Any major projects you can tease for 2020? No.
Just Street Sharks next Thursday. That is our biggest project to date. It's the most important thing on the schedule right now because it's currently not finished. So,
like we
that's
said,
his fault.
Well, we just shot it 8 hours ago.
Clock's running. Let's go.
And like we had said earlier in the stream, we are trying to figure out how to come at Star Trek, which might be in the next, say, 4 to 6 weeks coming out.
Yeah.
But we don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We just have no idea.
Somebody said producer Greg should have his own show, and
that's incorrect.
That's fine, but I get to edit it.
Are you going to do a history of Yu-Gi-Oh video? It's on the list.
Yeah.
We did do Voltron already.
Yeah. We haven't done anything with wrestling. We'll do that at some point. It's probably on the list. The old, especially the old WWF stuff. I've just never been a big wrestling fan myself. I didn't really collect those figures, so it's never really been a huge priority to get it on there. So we'll hit it at some point.
Any thoughts on sci-fi doing the same concept as Toy Galaxy's history of? There's plenty of room for everybody.
We did not invent history of.
We did not.
We did not invent history of. We did not invent lists. We didn't invent videos. So, if anybody wants to do any of that stuff, they are more than welcome to. Expectations for the Netflix Transformers. I have no expectations. Whatever they want to do with it, they didn't ask me. So I didn't keep up. I didn't see every episode of what was it? Not Siege, the War for Cybertron. Any of the most recent animated stuff. What's that? It's Titan's Return. So whatever they want to do with it, I'm game. I watched the trailer. It looked cool. That's really all I can say.
No question. I just want to say hi. Producer Greg is way dreamier than I thought he would be. That is incorrect. That is incorrect.
Well, I better stay away.
Hey, thanks for doing this, guys. Very much appreciate the diversion today. No problem. We might do this again coming up here at some point. This was very easy to set up, despite the hiccup at the beginning.
Salvator, I assume that's Salvador. Oh, it's probably Salvador.
You think shooting a video at Hasbro would be possible? Rhode Island isn't that far from you. So here's the thing about that. Here's the kind of weird thing about that is we have talked about shooting videos at places, but it gets a little difficult if the place is of the place that we're covering, especially if the script is going to have something in it that isn't, like, we don't want to have to get approval from anybody.
Yes.
So if we were to shoot at Hasbro, they would probably have to approve a history of Hasbro script because we do have Hasbro on the list. I don't like the idea of having to get Hasbro's approval for a video.
That, and
it's a tricky area.
Well, there's that aspect of it, but then there's also the we are very ambitious dreamers. We have very big ideas and very big plans and all kinds of very complicated things that we want to execute, but we are also very practical and like to keep it as simple as possible. So yeah, we talk about like, oh, we should go and shoot this crazy thing and the stuff and interviews and whatever else. And then we're like, but what if we stayed home and just shot something with the two of us? That's faster and easier, and we'll get it done in a week. So it's tough to balance this sort of, daydream kind of big idea type stuff with the practicality of actually getting something executed and delivered that you can actually watch.
Burnt Marshwiggle Studio, greetings from Ohio. So when are you visiting the Troll Hole Museum? The world's largest troll doll collection is waiting for you on site for your on-site broadcast. We'll put you up for the night or two or whatever.
In the troll hole? Get put up in the troll hole? Well, hey, I'm going to have to research that and find out so I assume when we're talking about trolls, we're talking about like trolls with the hair and the...
I would hope so.
Yeah, I don't know what other kind of trolls are.
Like ones that live under the bridge.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah. All right, so the actual trolls. So I assume trolls is on our list of things to cover. We'll have to cover it first so I know about it, so that the visit to the museum will have more impact. It'll have a stronger emotional hit once I'm connected to it and have my own experience with trolls.
Corey Staley, any plans to do history of for toys aimed at the ladies back in the day? Yes. We'll get around to them at some point. We don't have any concrete plans like, they're on the schedule.
Oh, toys aimed at ladies, not necessarily videos aimed at ladies.
Will you be doing other new history versions of previous 10 Things videos? We have one coming out. How do you guys feel about the Toys That Made Us? He's seen it. I have never seen an episode.
I think it's great. One of the other things that one of our sort of operating philosophies when we started this was the idea that this isn't broadcast television, there isn't one 8 o'clock Thursday night, 3 channels, you got to have one of those time slots. This is anybody who's talking about toys, anybody who's doing nostalgia stuff, comic books, videos, all this stuff. Everybody can watch it all. Like, you don't have to just watch us. You can watch us and Pixel Dan and Toys That Made Us. Watch everybody. It's good. Everybody that's talking about this stuff is possibly potentially reaching an audience that we may not be reaching, they not be reached. Like, let's all just reach everybody and keep talking about this stuff, because it just makes it more, it makes it a better experience for all of us, I think. Plus they're well put together, and I learned a lot.
Any favorite toy or retro culture podcasts?
You watch a lot of movie stuff. You listen to a lot of, or some? Do you even listen to podcasts anymore?
No.
Okay. No, well, that's irrelevant.
For the most part, the only podcast I listen to, or when I go for walks or whatever, and that's just lore and the Monster series. They're true crime podcasts. That's what I listen to.
I don't currently have any podcasts that I listen to, so I can't help you there.
Doesn't Pixel Dan have one?
I'm sorry. I do listen to Drunk Dish. I listen to Drunk Dish. Hang on, let me see if I can pull this off. There we go. I listen to Drunk Dish. Check that out on Spotify. On what is it? Are you guys on? What else?
iTunes. It's called Drunk Dish Podcast.
Drunk Dish.
They're also on Twitter at Drunk Dish Pod.
That's for foodstuffs, food history,
and drink history.
Drink history.
Yeah.
Yes.
Marcus, thank you for the time and effort you guys put into a channel. No problem, man. We love doing it. We've been doing it for a while now, and we love doing it. So.
Daniel Brandt saying, actually, I just missed it. Whoever was talking about rearranging their quarantine room, Dimagia Yen. My quarantine time has been spent mostly in my toy room, reposing and rearranging. I've been seeing a lot of that on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook everywhere. A lot of people taking time to clean up their collection, take out some redundancies, and really do some of that sort of spring cleaning type stuff for the love, for the occupying the time, fill that time. That's a very common thing that's happening right now. Taco Bell Yoshi, what is the Toy Galaxy script writing process like? It's something that evolved over time. Early on, if you go back and watch the really early episodes, there's a different tone and sort of approach to things, because we hadn't quite found the voice yet. The seeds are there. It's in process, but it wasn't quite there. I'm usually trying to find, well, first of all, there's different script approaches, whether it's an oddity, a list, or a history of. History of, obviously, the priority is in getting the actual facts out there, making sure the facts are as correct as possible. So they tend to not be as jokey. I mean, there's jokes in them.
Right.
The lists, we can just go nuts and have fun, because we throw the voting out, people vote, and then it's just like, okay, how can we build gags? How can we build some entertainment around this? Because if we were just going to put a list out there, we could just make it a post on Facebook and just tweet it out and be like, here's the results. So we're trying to come up with ways that things that are going to engage people's interest and be legitimately funny. And the only measure we have for how to make something funny is, I'm trying to make him laugh, he's trying to make me laugh, and we go, I hope other people think that's funny too. And it seems to have, I've said this more than once tonight now, it seems to have worked okay so far.
Yeah, the scripts are, for the most part, not collaborative. If I have time, I'll do research for history ofs, or I will compile votes for list episodes. If I don't, then he'll handle all that, and then he writes the script by himself with no input from me. Then I show up to shoot. We do a read through. If I have any changes that I want to make, which is super rare,
very rare,
we work those in, and then we just shoot the thing.
Yeah, occasionally.
That's it.
Occasionally, and this happened today, I'll come up with a gag or a bit that I'll need his input on, because he's the one that's actually got to execute the other end of the bit. Sometimes that's a cut to something. Sometimes it's just the logistics of how do we shoot this thing? Like it's a funny line, but do you think we can facilitate this here? And then he'll take that from there, and we'll bounce that back and forth, and whatever the result is, that's what you see.
Lawrence Luck, thanks for your work. Love to see a tour of the studio. Possible. Cleaning the house, you'll be getting a nice package of stuff.
Honestly, the studio is what you see in the videos. There's really not much more to it than that. It's a wall with action figures on it, and I'm sitting on a stool. There's a trunk to my left, and that's really it. Just two cats that wander around.
Someone asked about Turbo Teen Oddity. That's another one with the oddities that kind of falls into a weird spot. It has been in the list. We have, you know, it's broken up by subject, oddity, and history ofs and lists and everything like that. And Turbo Teen has actually bounced back and forth between history of and oddity a bunch of times. We still haven't done an episode on it. It's just such a weird thing, and it lasted for such a short amount of time that it feels like it should be an oddity.
Yeah.
But I think that it would benefit from we don't know. There is
it's one
there
of
is
those
going to
ones
be
that
something Turbo Teen. We just don't know when.
Straddles that line of what is it? How do we approach it? You know, oddities do tend to be shorter than history ofs because by their nature, history ofs have more stuff to talk about to build on.
Daniel Brandt.
Don't miss this one.
Okay. Salvador.
Salvador.
How did living overseas in your youth affect your collecting habits and conversations, arguments on the playground about IPs when you got back?
So as far as affecting collecting habits, at that point, you know, I was so young, I wasn't really buying my own stuff, so it didn't really affect my collecting habits back then. It was whatever was at the store. Hey, mom and dad, can I get this thing? Yes or no, and then you either get the thing or you don't. It affects my collecting now because I have much more of a nostalgic connection to Gundam and Sentai and Masked Rider and giant robots and all that stuff. And yeah, when we got back to the US, it was very weird because I already had a bunch of the toys that were about to get released. So I was the cool kid for a while. I was the cool kid because I had all these toys that nobody else had heard of, and or the shows were out, like Voltron was out, but nobody actually had the toys yet, but I had the toy. And then the crappy part about that is that like 2 years later, some other Navy brat kid had been over in Japan, and he came back.
Supplanted you?
Yeah, no, he became the new cool guy, and everybody wanted to play with his toys and not mine.
8-Bit Monk, love the Battletech piece, discovered Robotech and Dugram through the mechs used. Have you ever played the tabletop game or any of the video games?
I have not, no. I'm familiar with them. I had a lot of friends that were into the tabletop games, but it was never something that I actually ended up participating in. I've seen clips of the games, but I haven't had time to really play video games, especially something that's going to require a significant time commitment since we started the channel.
Sixto Reynoso, thoughts on new Joe's possible videos, maybe a cartoon? Thank you for saving us from the insanity today. No problem.
We're heroes. I don't want to take all the credit. Thoughts on the new Joe's possibility video? I wish they were doing a cartoon. The last couple of animated series have actually been pretty strong.
Thank you, Matt.
I don't think it's happening though. I don't think it's, as far as I know, I haven't seen anything. This seems to be running off the power of that mobile game that I tried and wasn't really into a resource management game. So I'm not expecting anything. I hope to be disappointed with that. I hope they make something, which disappoints me because I wasn't expecting anything. And so then I hope it's good and I'm happy.
Nate from Fairfield, Ohio, love the content. Don't answer this. If you could choose a movie to receive a proper toy line that hasn't had one, which movie would it be? Would love to know your opinion, and thank you. The reason I said not to answer this is because we shot another episode of the Q&A today. That's right. After we shot Street Sharks, and that a question very similar to that was asked in there. So when the next episode of the Q&A comes out, which is, I don't know whenever I get around to editing it in the next 2-3 weeks, then you'll find out his answer to that.
Good tease. Good show tease.
Thanks.
Good job. What inspired you guys to start the channel? Wanting to make stuff, you know. I wanted to talk about toys and look at a camera. He wanted to make videos and point a camera. It was a match made in heaven.
we've known each other for a long time.
Yes.
We knew each other for a long time before that, and so it became. It's a story that we've told a million times, but it became a thing where
like
it was
5 times.
Where it was like the only 2 people that we can count on to show up every week is us. So what can we do with the 2 of us to make a thing? I watched a lot of YouTube channels. That was my main form of entertainment, still is my main form of entertainment. So I was looking to get into doing something on YouTube, and he likes action figures. So it was like, let's just do that.
Yeah.
Let's just figure something out with that combination of stuff. I like editing and cameras and making movies and films and stuff, and he likes performing. So
Night of Ren 789 has asked a couple of times when the best of 2020 part 1 is coming. I think it's due like right now.
Oh yeah,
January, February, March. It's supposed to be out end of March, so I've got like 9 days to pull that one off. So soon.
Mike Case, producer Greg, how long does it take you to edit a video? I find I get about 2 hours of work for every 20 minutes I record. It depends on the video. Usually, like the Magic the Gathering video, because there's so much stuff out there in terms of video content on YouTube and on the internet and in general, trying to sort through it all sometimes is a little bit difficult. So like Magic the Gathering video, which was 20 minutes, took about 16 hours, 16 to 20 hours. But then something that we did recently, Battletech was real quick. Battletech was like 6 hours or something like that. It really just depends on the subject, and it depends on what gags I'm going to put in and how many I'm going to put in. So
we should answer this one. Eric Granada asks, is Toy Galaxy a store? Toy Galaxy has our own merch as far as like Teespring and that sort of thing, but there is an actual toy store, I think in the UK, called Toy Galaxy. There's no connection, no association there. It was just came up with the same name on different sides of the planet at different times. So they are not us. I think we've messed with their Google search results though, because we come up a lot more.
Someone asked who my favorite director was. I don't think I have one. If I had to pick one, it would probably be David Fincher, because Zodiac is a movie that I watch all the time. Seven is a movie that I've seen a million times. The Social Network is a movie that I watch all the time. So I mean, yeah, I don't really know. I don't know that there's one favorite in there. Let's see.
Have you ever seen, from Jonathan DeRay, thank you, producer Greg, have you ever seen Pledge Night?
No, I haven't.
Is that?
I have not yet.
Not yet.
I think I have it on a queue somewhere, but I'm not sure. I might be thinking of The Pledge. So I'm not sure.
Mike Templeton has asked a few times, do you find the Bearded Dan videos tend to do better than non-Bearded Dan videos? And if so, do you decide when to shave based on the upcoming schedule? It is literally how I feel like when I wake up in the morning. I'll let it grow because I just don't feel like shaving. And then if I need to be clean shaven for a list, for a costume, that's when I'll shave it. So like, I was like, full beard or whatever, and we're like, oh, we're doing He-Man, shave it.
Right.
But in most cases, it's just like if I wake up and feel like shaving, I shave, just like everybody else.
As you can see, I never feel like waking up and shaving.
That said, when Hasbro showed off the Mr. Fantastic figure that had the beard and a strikingly handsome resemblance to somebody, I was like, I need to grow the beard back out because I can't not pick up that figure and not have the beard.
Unpopular opinion, my favorite director is Zack Snyder. I don't know that that's an unpopular opinion. Like what you like.
You like what you like.
Be happy about it.
That's whatever.
It's fine. If those are the movies that bring you joy, if his movies bring you joy, watch them and love them. What music do you guys enjoy? I don't know that there's. I don't know that there's really an answer to that. I've been listening to a lot of Ninja Sex Party lately.
My Spotify playlist is all over the place. A little bit of everything.
Let's see. Someone asked, "Do you watch Chopping Mall all the time?" No, I don't watch Chopping Mall all the time, but I've seen it a lot of times. and I do love
it. Thoughts on Joker? I didn't see it. Did you see it?
Didn't see it.
All right. Okay. I'll see it at some point.
VHS Greg, do you collect it? Love the Chopping Mall shirt. Yeah, kind of. I have a very small VHS collection because I recently got back into collecting VHS, and I'm very particular about the type. I generally only go for first release VHS copies of stuff. So, I have a couple of the Friday the 13th movies and other favorite movies, Clue the movie and things like that. I have way more Laserdiscs than I have VHS by a mile, because I've been buying Laserdiscs since 1994. Thoughts on Stuart Gordon? I love Stuart Gordon. I think he's great. Obviously, he directed Reanimator and Robot Jocks. So, it's fine.
Just reading through a ton of comments now.
Yeah. Where do you rank Chopping Mall in terms of all-time movie head explosions? Probably number one. It's so good.
When is the Toy Pizza collab happening? We did a video. We did a video on Toy Pizza, wasn't it? We did something where I talked to Jesse. Are we going to bleep his name? Do you bargain, bin, or thrift hunt at used item stores? I try to. The question is, do you bargain, bin, or thrift hunt at used item stores, etc.? I used to do it a lot more than I do now. It seems like there's a lot more people out there that are going to those kinds of stores and buying up those kinds of items. So it's harder to find things out in the wild like that, even flea markets and yard sales and stuff. There's always somebody who's willing to get up a little earlier, 3, 4, 5 a.m. and just, stand outside the store and wait for it, or made friends with the person out back. It's just not as fun as it used to be.
Any ideas on a live Toy Galaxy show? We do have a live episode, 10 worst vehicles, I think it was. And we had plans to do more this year at conventions we were going to go to, but now we're here. So we would love to do more, but we have to be let out of the house for that to happen.
Yeah, and this is the closest. This is us trying out new format and seeing what's what, and if people will tune in. And hey, here we are.
Did Kroll have a line of toys?
Not to my knowledge.
There you go.
Have you ever done an episode on Supernatural? Supernaturals is on the list.
It's on the list
for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely on the list. Would you consider a history of Kamen Rider if you haven't already done one? Yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Kamen Rider into
Kamen Rider. Is it Kamen or Kamen?
It's Kamen. Into Masked Rider and the sort of parallels with just how Power Rangers worked as far as the original Japanese stuff and the U.S. translations and how that all works out. That's good. Thank you, Grant Saunders.
Have you ever considered doing your own Kickstarter for your own figure line?
Yeah, we have considered it. It's definitely something I would like to.
We have.
No, that's true. I have. You couldn't care less. It's definitely something I would like to look into and consider. I don't know that I have any specific ideas. I used to do comic stuff. So I definitely have like a file cabinet full of character designs and whatever that I could mine for action figure concepts. So it's definitely something that it's on the list.
History of Transor Z, it's on the list. Carlton Green, that's gibberish. I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, I know what it means. I know what it means.
Oh, I know what it means. Okay. Yeah. Dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Drink of choice.
Eagle Force is on the list. Drink of choice.
Drink of choice. Jonathan DeRay.
I drink a lot of Coke. Coke, and then Coke after that. I don't know. Just a lot of stuff. I'm drinking Barks because that's all Greg had over.
That's right. That's right. And coffee.
Yeah.
Drink a lot of coffee.
Somebody asked earlier on if there was ever a point where the Boba set would end. That's not really the point of it. I'm not looking for a specific number of figures. It's just the sort of building and the cataloging, and just we've got a documentary on the Boba set video where I talk about sort of where it came from, why it happened, and why it's just going to continue to grow. So there is no specific number that we're working towards, that I'm working towards.
Yokai Customs, are there any video topics that you refuse to do? If so, what and why? No, I don't think so.
I mean, there's definitely stuff. The list is too long of things that we wouldn't do. We're not going to do anything related to, like, you know, the history of building construction.
Well, I think
so within the realm, within the realistic realm of expectations, we could do whatever. We talked about that a little bit earlier, as far as like anything that touches, even just, you know, kind of, if we can justify like, hey, this is a thing people might be interested in, you know, maybe we would do history of building construction. I don't know. We can make it funny.
We should do it just for the hell of it.
Yeah, it's not really, whatever works. Wrestling with Gaming there.
Yeah, Wrestling with Gaming, which, by the way, I love his channel. So everybody should go check out Wrestling with Gaming and subscribe. You guys seem like Star Trek fans. What's your favorite Star Trek series? Keep up the awesome work. Yeah, Dan is not a Star Trek person.
No, I am.
Not a Star Trek person. Like, I'm
not like a huge Star Trek fan. If I had to pick between Star Wars and Star Trek, I'd pick Star Wars. Right. But Next Generation is by far the best.
Right.
So we can thank you.
I love Next Generation. I watched it when it first started in syndication, but I wouldn't say that I'm a huge fan. And my taste for just storytelling in general has certainly changed with the times. And so, you know, going back to Star Trek: The Next Generation, to me it feels a little old.
It feels a little dated.
So I don't, you know, so I don't think I would go back to it to do like a full watch through or whatever.
I'm watching this face right here.
I really, and this is like, this might be blasphemous, but I really loved Star Trek Discovery. I don't get bogged down in the lore of everything. I just don't care.
Lore.
I just can't possibly care. So I love Discovery. I loved both seasons of Discovery. I can't wait for season 3. And I have loved Picard so far. Just to see those characters again, see them come back, you know, see Patrick Stewart playing Jean-Luc Picard has just been a real joy. And seeing Brett Spiner running around playing Data for the brief time that he did. And it was just great. It was just great.
Lore was a character on Next Generation, by the way.
That's correct. Picard over Kirk, yes.
I think so. That might be a generational thing, though.
It might be. Although I did watch the original Star Trek when I was very young. I watched the original Star Trek. I didn't watch it sort of religiously, but I did watch the original.
Gaposaurus, my gaze finds the camera always.
It's always been a problem. Would you ever do an in-depth Adventure People? I think it's on the list.
Yeah, no, it's on the list. It's definitely on the list. This one, are you ever going to do more illustrations? I would like to. It was the main reason that didn't work out was my setup was just not conducive to being able to do it. It was just this contraption of cameras and things and stuff, and my desk just wasn't good for it. So it's definitely something I would like to revisit at some point, but I would need a much better setup in order to facilitate.
Would you consider doing a history of Action Force video? It's on the list, and it will definitely be done.
I saw Thu's shout out. I watch his show whenever he posts, so I definitely saw that shout out, and that was really cool. I love his show. Thu Adams, go watch him. Subscribe, please.
Chris Morey, hey, producer Greg, have you seen The Color Out of Space? If so, what'd you think? We just watched it. My wife and I, she's back there. We just watched it 3 or 4 days ago. I friggin' loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was great. That's a no. Gwit. Will Miss Toy Galaxy ever do a video pretending to be you? No.
Captain Janeway all over. Overall.
That's fine. Hey, yeah, like what you like.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, there you go. Do you collect reproduction G.I. Joes, Black Major figures? I don't collect them. I own a few because people have been nice enough to send them in to me. So the couple that I have are pretty cool and I dig them. And I did follow that project. Whoa, the chat just freaked out. I did follow that project when he was producing a lot of those figures. So really interesting to see the quality of the work that he put out.
Are figure reviews a thing of the past? For us, maybe.
For now.
For now, sure.
Yeah. Carlton.
Carlton.
All right.
Any, what is this? Any possibility of a Stretch Screamers video? What is that?
I mean, we can put it on the list. It's going to be way down the list, though.
Most wanted toy or Laserdisc that you can't get a hold of right now. For me, it's Chopping Mall on Laserdisc, actually.
For me, it's the brand new McFarlane Spawn figure.
I hate to be a stereotype with the shirt.
Haven't gotten Spawn yet, and I'd really like to get me a Spawn. I was actually watching videos of Spawn gameplay on MK11 just because it looked cool.
Why is your TV a giant clock? It's the screensaver for the Shield TV.
That's not a TV. That is a clock. You should see his TV.
It's just a screensaver for the Shield TV.
Excuse you. I keep half reading a comment and the whole thing jumps and I can't read it.
Where are Wednesday and Lupin? They're at his house.
At my house. Any Vanilla Ice figures? They're not on the list now.
Are there any?
Yeah, there's probably like at least like a 12-inch Barbie style kind of thing. I'm sure there's one or two out there. No action figure style ones. They definitely didn't make any for Ninja Turtles 2.
Let's see. Star Trek toys from the 90s. Yeah, I mean
that's the whole Playmates line.
Yeah.
There's a question for you. Thoughts on the new availability of in-theater movies to stream and own now?
That is a loaded question. Like I liked going to the theater. I like going to the theater. But we don't go very often because the theatrical experience is not very good. I like the idea of going to the theater.
Right. You want like the velour curtains,
no,
gold ropes,
no, I know.
Lights down the ramp.
I like the idea of going to the theater to watch movies.
Yes.
But the theatrical experience lately is rough. Most of the time that we go to the theater around here, the last bunch of times that we've gone to the theaters around here, they just weren't great experiences. And
well, and that's on the other people that are in the theater. Like if you were in a theater full of people who were cinema appreciators, it would be a different thing.
Sure. So, this has been a long time coming where the, theatrical movies wind up not going to the theater, but instead go to streaming services for premium prices.
We have talked about that for a while, where we would say we would pay a premium price if they made that available. $25. I didn't want to say like 100. Somebody's gonna be like, hey, they said they'd pay $100. But we'd be willing to pay a premium price if it meant being able to watch those movies day of release from your house, because everybody's got a lot of people have a pretty good theater setup at home, or even if it just meant you could watch it on your phone or a device or somewhere else, or go over to a friend's house instead of having to deal with that whole theater experience.
So yeah, it's tough.
Especially when you have like these big movies that you don't want it to be spoiled for you. I don't care what it is. You don't want to read something online. It's the nature of everything, people wanting to spoil it for you. It's like, I want to be able to go see it in the theater, but if that means the movie's going to be ruined for me, then I'd rather just watch it at home.
Yeah, it's a tough call. It's a tough thing because I like the idea of being able to see it at my house, but I do not like the idea of theaters possibly just collapsing and going under and there not being any.
No, that
sucks. That sucks.
Jim Bagtaz, thanks for watching and commenting all the time.
Let's see. Any online group games you're playing now to be social with people? No, I'm not social to begin with, so I don't care. Yeah, we're probably going to be watching Invisible Man this week sometime.
Corey Spaley asks, ever come across a figure at a flea market or store that you couldn't believe your good luck in finding? Yeah, whenever we go to flea markets now, that's what I'm looking for. Is it doesn't even have to be like a really crazy rare action figure or anything, just something I haven't seen in a while, something I wasn't expecting to see. I want to be like surprised by something, and that doesn't always mean like an incredibly rare or valuable thing, just a thing I haven't seen in a while, like maybe like a vintage Microman or Micronauts figure, something like that'll pop up and you'll just be like, oh my gosh, this is not something you see regularly in boxes. You tend to see a lot of the same stuff, so that it's always neat to see things that I hadn't seen, that you just don't see a lot of, and that I don't necessarily collect, just different kind of stuff.
Do you wish they made figures of the Stuff movie? I would like it if I could just get one of the canisters from the Stuff movie, which they're out there. I've just never had one.
Kyle Harlow asked, who owns GoBots now? Any chance of return? GoBots is part of Hasbro. Hasbro owns them, so they're basically within the Transformers universe. Basically, that's their call if that comes back. DiMaggio Yen with the Dick Tracy the blank figure. That's the kind of thing that you don't see that a lot, and you might not be a fan of Dick Tracy or even that line of figures, but seeing that figure and knowing the story behind it, that's a cool piece to pick up, especially for $5. That's a great deal.
Any small toy makers from Toy Fair 2020 you were excited about?
Small toy makers?
Yeah.
I'm always a fan of Boss Fight Studios. Do they qualify as small? Boss Fight Studios has been doing 4-inch scale stuff for a while now, and their next round of 4-inch stuff, they've got licensed things that are coming out, and then their own original creations, and all of the parts are interchangeable and that sort of thing. But they're also making the move to 6-inch with some wrestling figures, so I'm excited about everything that they're doing. Other small companies that were, there's definitely other stuff, but Boss Fight, what's that? I'm Elemental. I'm Elemental. I always love what they're doing. They're kind of in a holding pattern right now, waiting for their animated series stuff to get taken care of before they can move forward with any other stuff. There's anytime a toy Kickstarter pops up, anytime there's an indie company, I do my best to try to support them and get the word out on what they're doing. Thomas Jensen, thoughts on Top Gun Maverick? I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm excited. Oh man, Top Gun is Top Gun. It is what it is. I was a 10-year-old kid. My dad was in a F-14, fighter squadron. So like I was seeing those kinds of airplanes every day. He was working on carriers. Like he was living that life. He wasn't a pilot, but he was living that life. So I got to see that. I was immersed in it. I wanted to be a fighter pilot when that movie hit. So that was who I wanted to be, was Maverick. So the fact that another movie is coming out is neat because I'm excited by that stuff. But it's also kind of like I'm afraid of it because I don't want it to ruin what's already the experience that was already there. Like what are they going to do with the character? Where are they going to take it? What's going to happen with him? I don't know. I don't want it to conflict with any of my fan fiction that I've written. So it's like I have very specific plans about where he's supposed to go. Laser Pants.
Laser Pants. So much sucks right now. At least we have Toy Galaxy. You're welcome. We're doing what we can.
And for the foreseeable future, it is our plan to maintain and just to be able to continuously keep doing what we're doing, keep hitting those Thursdays, keep getting those videos out, and not letting stuff that's going on, creep into us. Just trying to make people laugh, trying to do funny stuff.
What do you guys think of the new Transformers line, Siege Earthrise? I have no thoughts.
I think it looks great. I'm not a completist when it comes to Transformers. I pick up the molds that I like. I definitely want to grab the Earthrise Starscream, and I'm still looking for Wheeljack. I think that officially hasn't street dated yet. I know it's at a bunch of places, but I still need to get a Wheeljack and Starscream. Those are definitely two pickups for me. Wasn't impressed with the way Megatron looks, so I'll probably just be keeping my Siege Megatron as my current go-to Megatron. Although I still love Combiner Wars with one of the upgrade kits that gave him like new hands and feet and fusion cannon extension. Yeah, Steven Yoshiko, the Sectars from Zika are amazing figures. That's way to pick those up. Magnetic feet. Who knew?
Sunny Scotland.
Scotland.
Yeah. Do you think the toy industry is coming to an end? This is a question that we get an awful lot.
No, I don't think it's coming to an end. But it's certainly, I mean, we've covered it in videos before, but it's definitely changing. It's fractured. It's more fractured than it's ever been between, the big manufacturers, independent companies, Kickstarters, everything that's going on. The audience has simultaneously gotten bigger.
Thank you, Wild Shot X.
Bigger, but hyper focused. Like collectors are very specific about what they want, so it's hard for one company to be able to deliver everything to everybody. So it's just all kinds of all over the place. So it's like, it's not ending, but it's definitely in flux right now.
Any toy this is General Rasp, any toy that you really wanted but didn't get because of the price?
In the past?
Not in the future.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I collect too much stuff as it is, so I'm constantly having to make choices. The Legendary Defender, Voltron Legendary Defender, the Netflix series, they put out, a full set, combinable, full-size lions and everything. I ended up only getting the black lion because I knew I wasn't going to buy all 5 lions. The full set was too expensive. The individual lions, the cost was just going to be too expensive. Plus, I saw that a lot of people were getting like broken tails and stuff. So that was one where I was like, you know what? I picked up the black lion on clearance, and the rest I just passed on. So that does happen quite a bit. And you got to make those choices based on your own personal situation, your budget, and how you prioritize what's important to you.
Thoughts on doing a history of I Am Elemental, or is it too new? It's not too new. We have a couple of companies on the history of to do at some point. We just, there's no process to picking which history of or whatever we're going to do next. It's almost literally a week-to-week thing. So
yeah, history of I Am Elemental would be the kind of thing that we'd probably hold off until they had something to announce. If they had, when they have a project coming, that would be something where we would want to try to time that a little better to both help them, but also make it relevant to us, so that people had there was a greater awareness for that line and for those characters and concepts.
Favorite non-toy related YouTube channels? Thomas Johnson, Antique Furniture Restoration.
We do like Tom Johnson in
Maine.
Gorham, Maine. That's a good one for sure. Other than that,
Funhouse. I watch a lot of Funhouse. Yeah, Baumgartner Restoration.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, is I don't watch nearly as much YouTube as this cat does. More and more I'm getting into it, but I still don't have the sort of breadth of channels that he does. He's also much better about, like, when you don't like something, you murder it. Like, it never comes back and recommended. You're like, kill this and everything related to it within like a 3-generation matrix. Like, just murder it all. Yeah. So I don't even know if you get recommendations anymore.
Stay safe, Wilfredo Flores. We are YouTube. Loved your panel with Pixel Dan and Robo at Toy Fair.
That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Robo was like a last-second addition to that, which was really great. I was just sitting in the sort of like hangout area waiting for Dan to get back from Jazzwares, and when he came back, he had Robo with him, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome. What a great surprise. And then we just shot the thing, and it was just really nice to get all 3 of us together to be able to chit-chat on camera about toys. It was great.
I put in as many Funhouse bits as I can. The Talking Stockings one wasn't the only one, but I love Talking Stockings. I wish they'd bring it back. They're never going to bring it back. No, but
Talking Stockings is a mess.
Michael Munn, any plans? Oh, it just jumped. Any plans for? It was basically
for mini episodes for IG
on Instagram. Quick review. Yeah, it's definitely something I need to work on, trying to figure out how to take advantage of that medium. I can't say that I'm a what do they call it, when you're like the first to embrace new technology. I'm not that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Early adopter. I'm not an early adopter. So I'm still like, Greg's like, hey, you know what you should do is like use anything else on Instagram except just a regular photo post. And I'm like, all right, I'm trying to figure it out. So
he's like a 60-year-old man with Instagram. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Hang on, let me Google how to use Instagram.
First, let me Google. Yeah. I don't know how to find it.
So yeah, I definitely want to start utilizing Instagram for more mini reviews and all that kind of stuff. I have lots of thoughts about lots of other things. The that just don't fit on the channel right now. So it's definitely something that we're going to try to take advantage of.
Jimmy V, thank you so much for your channel. Until my wife saw you, I think she thought I was the only adult on earth who was so passionate about action figures and all the history and hard work that makes them.
That's awesome. I'm glad to help.
Thank you as well, Mark Gold. Thank you for rekindling my love of Battle Beast.
Nice.
No problem.
How did you lose the love? how did that flame go out? Were you doused with water?
Live stream on Instagram in the booth would be a good, easy way to start.
It's true. Favorite action figure, Mike Ellis. What is your favorite action figure so far in 2020? Yeah, I was really excited for that Fortnite Sentinel figure. Like really excited. I was talking about that thing constantly. So I am still very, very excited for that. It wasn't a perfect score. Like I still think McFarlane could do a little bit better on it, but that thing just makes me smile when I look at it. Rise Optimus Prime is absolutely amazing. And yeah.
History of Barbie. Barbie is on the list. Warhammer is not on the list, but I think we'll probably add it to the list. McFarlane Toys is on the list.
Where's that comment from Jesse DeStasio? I mean, it's just a bunch of carousel horses.
You're not supposed to say his name.
Oh, I'm sorry. I assumed you'd bleep it. Spicy Curry Ninja. I've noticed you don't have much in the way of toy cars and the related. How is it that you missed the Hot Wheels Matchbox phase most of us went through? I wouldn't say that I missed it. I definitely own cars. What were the ones called that looked like animals? The ones that was like a Hot Wheels car, but it was like a shark at the same time. I liked those a lot. I liked crack-ups. Anything with opening doors and hoods and trunks and all that. Those were all awesome pieces. I've definitely got like a little collection of different Mach 5s and shooting stars. You know, the kit, you know, any of those sort of like famous
I have the DeLorean
cars,
from
the DeLorean.
Back to the Future.
We'll definitely cover cars at some point. I'm sure Hot Wheels and Matchbox are on our list to discuss. Yeah, he's mentioned that once or twice now.
Thanks, Evan F. Thanks for making videos about Jason Wheeled Warriors and Dino Riders. It warms my heart to know they may be gone, but they're not forgotten. Nothing is ever forgotten in today's culture.
Nothing
with YouTube and nostalgia and everything like that. No way.
If there's any way to mine obscure content, it's going to be done.
Yeah. History of Rocketeer. Yes, it's on the list.
That'd be interesting.
We have it on the list.
Okay,
I put it on the list.
Good thing.
Food
Fighters definitely on the list.
Yeah.
Patrick Box, have you ever been asked to consult on a toy line? No. So if you want to be the first, if anybody wants to be the first, this is all it takes. This is money. This means money.
Urban Papa, who's Jesse DeStasio? I don't know.
I've never heard of that guy.
How about the history of Toy Galaxy? Funny you should mention that.
Something that was on the list.
What are some underappreciated horror movies for beginners to the genre? Off the top of my head, no idea. I'd have to sit down and think about that.
William Chandler Jr. Asking if I'm related to Glenn or Brie Larson. As far as I know, no Glenn, no Brie, and no Gary.
What about Don?
Don Larson, the baseball player, he spells it the other way. He's S-E-N, I'm S-O-N. But as far as I know, none of those famous people are related to me. And don't return my calls.
What would be your favorite canceled or unproduced toy line / prototype that you wished had made it? Last Starfighter, right?
Last Starfighter, or I don't know if they were. I think V. I probably shouldn't answer this, but V was definitely the visitors show. There were some prototypes out there, and they made that one like 12-inch figure that had the removable fat face. I would have loved to see action figures of that.
What other YouTubers you'd like to collaborate with?
And Michael Munn. No articulation.
We've been pretty lucky as far as the collabs go. Almost everybody we've asked has been fine with collabing with us. We don't ask a lot because we shoot with such a quick turnaround that trying to integrate other people into it is really, really difficult to be like, oh, can you shoot this thing? Because our our video comes out in 3 days.
Yeah, no, it's hard to get turnaround time. Like I literally think for the Masters of the Universe list video that Pixel Dan was in, we messaged him like 4 days ahead of time.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, here's what we need from you.
Are you in?
Is your camera already on? Because we need you to shoot it like right now. And we basically just asked him like, shoot us like 4 minutes worth of stuff, just ramble about Mosquitor, and then send it over. And
yeah,
we did, and that was amazing.
Yeah, we made that. We came up with that gag in the hallway of a hotel we were staying at for a convention. We were going down to the convention, and we came up with that gag. And then it was just like, hey, can you get in touch with Pixel Dan? And do you think he'll do it? And Dan was like, well, let me message him and see. And that was how that came together. Our turnaround time on videos is so quick. It's hard to integrate people.
Yeah, because normally we don't even know what we're shooting until a week ahead. And then our production schedule is, we already know how much time we need to do stuff. So trying to shoehorn somebody into that process is usually a pretty tight turnaround.
There's a lot of like, you see a lot, well, at least I see a lot on YouTube of people that have, oh, I'm working on this video and I'm working on this video and I'm working on this video. But for us, it's really like the video that you see come out on Thursday is the video that we were working on since the last video.
Yeah, basically.
it's a constant 1 week turnaround from video to video.
I would love to have that padded a little bit more.
So would I.
Whose toy collection is in your background of your videos? The only toy collection that exists between the two of us, and that's mine.
History of Micronauts, yes. That almost went out 2 weeks ago. I think we had talked about doing it like 2 weeks ago or something like that, and there was some stuff going on where it was just going to take too long, so I think we changed it to BattleTech, and that's how BattleTech went out. Sasquatchior
asks, Dan, any idea how big your collection is at the moment? Is it ludicrous or manageable? How would you define what you can see of my collection?
Ludicrous.
Okay, it's ludicrous. I think it's manageable.
What's bigger than that?
Do you do a lot of host segments in advance? No, it's 1 week. It's literally week to week. We put out a video on Thursday, and then usually on Friday we shoot the video for the next Thursday. That's the schedule.
I am Dr. B. Are there any Gundam shows that you would recommend? Hard for me to recommend any Gundam shows because I haven't really seen that many of them. The original, if you can find the edited version that's like 5 episodes instead of like 50 of the original, that's worth watching. If you're trying to watch all of the original series, it's just so long and boring. 8th MS is really good. Iron-Blooded Orphans is really good, and Endless any of the Wing stuff, Wing, Endless Waltz, that's all good, and that's almost everything that I've watched. So basically, whatever I've watched, check that out.
8-Bit Monk, what are your most anticipated 2020 releases, and what are the last things in your collection you'd sell? These both kind of come up in the Q&A video we shot today.
So skip it. Everybody who knows, if you've been watching any of our videos for any amount of time, you know that Boba Fett, vintage Kenner Boba Fett is my #1 guy, and there's no way I would sell that. My original Kenner Boba Fett would be the last thing I would sell out of my collection. Most anticipated for 2020, Spawn. I know it's out. I just don't have one yet. So until I get one, I'm going to be kind of whiny.
History of Gundam, yes, it's on the list. It's going to be a long one. So it's one where we have to have enough time to get in all of the stuff that leads up to that. I wish someone would ban Jesse DeStasio. He's a harasser.
I'm going to report him to the admins.
You're going to be reported to Mr. YouTube.
That's right.
And he will take care of it.
Yeah. Cool.
The Gundam store in Tokyo is nuts. If anyone gets a chance, go. I wish.
I was hoping to go see that.
I don't even like Gundam. I just want to go to Japan.
I was hoping to go see that new walking Gundam that they're building in October, but
we'll
see.
It might not be happening.
History of Battlestar Galactica, definitely on the list.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Any
older video topics you plan to revisit? Yes, very soon. probably in the next
Do you mean
2-3 weeks.
Redo videos or just topics we need to go back and cover in a better way?
That we have some redos coming up. There's 3 in particular that we have that were 10 things you need to know from way back in the day. But as far as older topics we'd like to revisit, there are a couple that I've thought about maybe going back and revisiting, because there's been development since we made the video that I think are significant enough that could potentially do another one. But no, other than just sort of thinking about it, no, we just have so many things that we want to cover that it takes something weird or something specific to go back and cover something we've already done.
So there was another, probably more than one question asking about a collection tour. Probably never going to do a collection tour because I don't really have my collection displayed the way you see a lot of these sort of fancy collection displays. I don't have like a bunch of cases. Basically, that wall behind me, that's the 90% of what I actually have displayed as far as my collection is concerned. If you go back to our archive, there are videos every once in a while that are called The Wall, where we'll sort of give a closer look at what was actually displayed at that period of time. But other than that, it's like a lot of stuff is in bins and put away in like drawers and stuff like that. It's, I know where they are when I need to pull a figure out or something, but I'm not gonna do a video about here's a camera in a bin.
Did you guys ever finish the history of Robotech? Yes, we did. 4 parts.
Big man of AK. Hey guys, I'm kind of new to your channel. What do you guys do with collections people send you? Do you sell them, or do they sell them, or do you sell them or mail them back? Blah blah blah. That's some of that stuff ends up. Most of that stuff I do keep because it's either things that are interesting, things that I don't have, but some of it does get like when we've set up when we had our meetup. Or at a couple of shows, there have been things there that I have either traded or sold in person, very inexpensively, because I know that they're important things. But it's not the kind of thing where they're ever listed. There's not on eBay. It's not that kind of stuff.
Do you guys also have other jobs, or do you do this full time without getting too far into it? He has another job. I do this full time. McFarlane Movie Maniacs video. I saw a couple of people mention that. I have McFarlane toys. We have History of McFarlane toys on the list. So that would, sort of cover Movie Maniacs, but it might be something that I look into to see if that could take a video of its own, and then maybe we would do that next Halloween or closer to next Halloween, because I'm always looking for sort of horror-y type stuff to do around Halloween. Like we have History of Tales from the Crypt, the animated series, on the list, that'll probably wait till next Halloween. So do you collect comic books as well? If so, which ones?
I used to, not really anymore. All of that sort of energy and resources and whatever got moved over to toys, and specifically doing the show. But I still check in. I still like to know what's going on with the stories and the characters and stuff. I follow a lot of writers and artists on social media just to keep tuned in with what they're working on and what they're designing and making. And occasionally some stories will drag me back in. Spider-Ham had a bit of a renaissance recently, so I definitely checked back in on that. I picked up a couple of Star Wars books recently, so there are things that'll bring me back over, but there's nothing I'm actually collecting regularly right now.
Someone asked about podcast plans. We've had podcast plans for years,
Forever.
But finding the time to do it is a different story. Along with doing the show, like I said, our turnaround is so tight on the show week to week that trying to fit any other content in there, especially something like a podcast, is almost impossible. There was another one, but I don't remember what it was. Dang it. Oh, History of Reaction. It'll happen. I don't know when, but it's on the list. Let's see.
8-Bit Monk, did you pre-order any of the upcoming Mythic Legions? I didn't pre-order any of them, but I will definitely end up getting some of them. That is how it has worked the entire time so far. I always end up saying I can't because I can never decide which ones I'm going to pre-order, and then I don't pre-order any of them, and then now I just end up. Those are like a convention indulgence for me, so maybe I won't be. Maybe I'll have to find a different way to. I'll actually have to, like, I don't know, get some on eBay or something. Yeah, Mythic Legions are great figures. I don't pre-order them, and then I always regret it.
How about a video about the highest dollar sales of vintage toys, or at least significant toys like the USS Flag, etc.? We do have on the list a list of the most expensive toys. We've just never gotten around to it.
Caprellis Artware asks, if there was a Toy Galaxy movie, which actors would prefer to be playing you? I wouldn't allow anybody to play me, so I'm going to play me, or that movie doesn't happen. I'll play Greg as well. So
yeah, it would. I would either request that Dan play me, right, or Andy Dick play me. What's up with the TV showing the time on it? That's exactly right. It is a TV showing the time on it.
Don't overthink this one. Don't overthink it.
Best horror movie for non-horror fans, the Evil Dead remake.
What?
That's a joke answer. It's brutal.
Yeah.
I love it.
Dan, are you interested in the Age of Apocalypse Marvel Legends wave? Not really.
We'll be picking up the Boss Fight Studios Sam and Max.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Probably, definitely. Definitely, probably. Say hi to Lupin and the Black Cat. Wednesday.
In your opinion, if McFarlane toys didn't succeed or exist in the 90s, would there be such a wide adult collector market now? Yes.
Yeah, I think so. It might look different, but I still think there'd still be that collector market. That money was still there. The interest was still there. It just might have taken on a different form.
What is the most valuable toy you've had in your collection?
At any given point?
At any given point.
Take the next question. I'm gonna have to think about that. Because I don't really collect value-wise. Like, I just.
No, I know, but you still, at some point, you had a figure that was more expensive than all the rest of the figures, and it was in your collection.
Yeah, that's probably true.
In anticipation of the forthcoming movie, we need a history of Dune. I agree.
Something from the Jason collection.
What Marvel movie are you most excited about?
There's only one coming out, isn't there?
I mean, just in general.
I'm just interested to see where that whole thing's going. I don't know what the plan is at this point. So, interesting to kick off the next chapter with a prequel. So, we'll see where that goes. I don't know, but there's none. I'll see them all eventually, but it really felt like it kind of wrapped up with that last movie.
Is that a countdown extinction clock on the TV behind you? I mean, it's counting up, so no.
I don't know what it's counting up to.
Has producer Greg added any more Hot Toys to his collection? No, and that won't happen. Ever thought about a retrospective of the RoboForce toy line? That is on the list.
Is definitely on the list, yep.
I think that was another one where it bounced back and forth between a history of and an oddity, and I don't even know where it ended up, so I don't know what list it's on. It might actually be on both.
We haven't done a history of Bucky O'Hare. Bucky O'Hare came up in a what video did that come up in? It was it wasn't
history of Z-Bots. That's on the list for sure.
We talked about Bucky O'Hare in some video. I don't remember which one it was. We have so many videos at this point that I don't remember.
Yeah.
Like, I have to check the list.
600 and something videos.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. I have to constantly check that list to remember what we did.
Thoughts on the upcoming Snake Eyes G.I. Joe movie?
I don't know anything about it yet.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
The odd history of RoboForce. Yeah, we'll just combine it. Have you done Zoids? We have not. We almost did once, but I think we looked into it, and if I'm remembering this correctly, the history of it was so long
Zoids.
Yeah,
just
they were
because
like,
there's so much.
We can't do that
there's
this week.
so much related to it that it's hard because it goes back so much into the Japanese history. There's just more information there than just what happened in the U.S. But I guess we could just limit it to the U.S. stuff if we wanted to. That's our call.
What made you, producer Greg, buy the Hot Toys Batman? My wife.
I was gonna say he didn't.
My wife. Greg, what did you think of Ari Aster movies, Hereditary and Midsommar? Didn't like either.
Hereditary's a goddamn gem.
Michael Munn, we've already done Garbage Pail Kids, and we did a History of Muscle as well.
Have you seen The Boys on Prime? I did. I loved it.
Nick, thanks for watching from London. No plans for Games Workshop at the moment. Shogun Warriors, we talked about Shogun Warriors in a 4 minutes or less or retro. I don't remember if it was a 4 minutes or a retro.
I think it was a retro.
But we had 2 of the jumbo Mashinder Shogun Warriors figures, and we talked a little bit about there. Sixto Reynoso, producer Greg, I did a podcast, movie versus movie. What is that?
Evil Dead versus remake.
Oh.
Would you hear it? I don't really listen to podcasts, unfortunately. It's very rare that I get a chance to listen to a podcast. If I'm not editing an episode, I'm doing other stuff with the channel and things like that. It's rare that I get to listen to a podcast.
Without a commute, it's hard to not have.
I have no commute.
That's prime podcast time.
It's true.
Green Lantern HG, thank you.
Oh, there's my cat.
Oh, he's been all up back here.
All right, I think we are going to wrap up there. This went a lot longer than I thought it was going to. We were going to try and keep it to an hour, but we didn't say that at the beginning. So
making this up.
So y'all didn't know.
Thank you very much for everybody tuning in, hanging out, asking questions. This will not be the last time we do this. This will only be the first time that we do this.
So yeah, I mean, obviously I'm sure most of you are subscribers to the channel. So
if not,
we will let you know. We will let you know when we're planning on doing this again. And thanks everybody for coming. And we're going to end the stream. So peace.
Later.